What's up, gamers, and welcome to another PAX Day video. My name's Brian, if you happen to be new to the channel, but we've got a lot to talk about as the PAX Day developers have shared their roadmap with us. Now, we're going to get into that later into this video. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts because there's a couple of key items on this that I am very, very excited about, but we do not have a date on that. But as a reminder, guys, early access is going to run at least until June 2025, and the devs are committing to a multi-year level of support. But as with all things, within all MMOs, within the curse that is being an MMO fan and playing these kind of games, well, it really is going to come down to putting your money where your mouth is. Are we going to see that kind of commit from the devs? I think we have. I think we are going to continue to see it. But if that ever changes, you'll be the first to know right here at the channel. Now, speaking of which, guys, we are inching closer to 20,000 subscribers. So we're roughly 1.43, I can't do math for some reason right now, away. That is an incredible 21% of you have subscribed to the channel. So thank you guys so much. If I earn your sub in these videos, sound off in the comments so I can welcome you officially to the channel. I like highlighting you guys both in videos, but also telling you in the comments that I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk about MMOs with you guys. Let's get into it. We've got a lot to cover. The devs, basically, to kind of give you an overview of how this video will flow from here on out, the devs give some context. So they name, like, if you kind of think of them as big milestone updates or big milestone patches, like the first one being Homestead, they kind of name it and they give a lot of context as to kind of what they're thinking about it, and then they kind of bullet point it out, and we'll go through both of these, but we'll set the context of what they're thinking, and then that will help inform us when we review the roadmap. And then we're gonna assign some dates, we're gonna assign some expectations. As a software developer myself, as someone who's working on his own game, there is hopefully a lot of value that I can provide you in today's video. Let's start off with Homestead. As you maybe have seen in the playtest that we've run so far, the village building, crafting, and resource loops are starting to work and feel very nice. There's something magical about wandering around the nature in PAX Day and collecting the herbs and mushrooms in the forest, watching the sunset from a cliff, or discovering a little house hidden in the woods. Our system already supports many types of buildings, from little huts to gigantic castles, through mansions and or factories. So that's the future of this part of the game? Question. We have plans for advanced features, but right now we are focusing on improving balancing and skill progression, polishing the first hours. Yes, pin recipe is on the list. Sweet. And adding more depth to the crafting system. The first content update after early access's launch will bring additional building pieces to complete some of the current sets. Among them, new walls adorned with grapevines and a great way to add some cachet to your buildings. We're also happy to confirm that prop signs are coming and to label storage to specific areas in your village, and that has constantly been one of the most requested features for the part of the game. I would counter with maybe letting us craft from our crafting containers, but I get how that gets a little bit complicated between clan and personal. Honestly, I would just say make it personal or something like that, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Now they go into the adventure section. I think this is one thing that a lot of people are looking forward to. Yes, the combat system needs work. They've stated that for many, many times. So I think it's only fair that we give them the benefit of the doubt and let them cook. However, we'll see what happens. Following player feedback in Alpha 2, we've spent the last few weeks focusing on improving the character's responsiveness in combat. We don't think that we're there yet. Currently, our PvE is at a minimal functional baseline, and PvP is kind of fun, but definitely not where it needs to be for the game's vision to come together. The current PvP system is a test implementation, and we will be radically different moving forward. Overall, this part of the game will remain an ongoing priority for the foreseeable future. Our mission here is challenging. We've taken an action-oriented approach to combat, and we want the skill ceiling to be relatively high. As an RPG, we also want gear and skill progression to offer depth and feel meaningful. Finally, we're also an MMO, so the game needs to work for group combat and dungeons all the way down to the solo player hunting in the woods. Now, we're assuming getting each of these aspects right and finding a good balance between them will take time. As the work related to fine-tuning responsiveness, animations, and NPC behaviors is inherently slow, our plan here is to keep improving things with every patch and engage with all of you in Discord so that we can figure this out together. In addition to tuning the combat feel, we'll be adding more content, more weapons, armor, enemies, and spells. On the mechanics side, we're also focusing on combat flow from attack to level, which has improvements for crowd control, role specialization, along with balance special maneuvers and spells so that they work for both PvE and PvP. Now, finally, we're also going to start unveiling the game's lore. It will be a progressive and iterative process, adding depth to the world through indirect storytelling. Who knows? Mythical creatures might even start being sighted in remote corners of the world at some point. I really do hope so. That's going to be fun to see how that evolves in this case. Let's get into the civilization piece. This is one of the biggest pieces that I'm personally interested in, especially when it comes to player-driven economies, and that means an in-game economy. Right now, I feel like the trade is really all obviously a barter system, and that kind of feels like maybe just how things evolved within our own society, within our own humanity. But anyway, yeah, I think I would rather trade resources and just kind of be a resource supplier in the game itself. Civilization, the pillar of this part of the game, is where active player community is critical to continue to develop meaningfully. Our goal is to eventually offer a choice in roles and systems, allowing a rich social fabric to emerge in all the shards. All we will have player-controlled structures so that you can participate in the political intrigue, such as or warfare, as much or as little as you want. Ultimately, players will be able to create social structures above and or across the clans that they go to war, or have eternal peace if they choose so. Getting to that vision will happen one step at a time. In this area, we currently have the baseline player clans, but almost no other features. This part of the game will be one of our main focuses in the coming months. In PAX Day, almost everything is player made, whether creating coal for the blacksmith baking a cake, or crafting a piece of magical armor using the rarest of relics found in the bottom of the deepest dungeon. We're convinced that trade will completely shift the game's dynamics, making it easier for players to specialize and collaborate at scale. No matter what part of the game you want to focus in on, there will always be things that you can produce that are useful to others. How will this materialize in the game? Our team is working on bringing back gold into the game and introduce the first system-allowed trading between players via a new type of item, the market stall. You will be able to build market stalls on your plot the same way that any other prop, and the market stall will unlock asynchronous transactions with other players using gold as the currency. Gold in turn can be earned either by selling items and resources to other players or as loot from PvE. This continues further. More features will be added as the corner of the game during early access, including altars and miracles, and the regretted teleported feature may make a comeback, and also some roles that will sit out of clans. The first such role that we will introduce are the knight and the soldier, but they are a story for another time, and we'll tell you more about them as we get closer, and I'll be sure to cover it as soon as it goes live. Let's get into the roadmap itself. You see Homestead, Adventure, Civilization, and Miscellaneous. Now, obviously, we started this video off with the 2025, June 2025 at a minimum, at least. That's going to be the time frame of this. So that immediately starts to say, like, you could start to kind of think of these almost in a way as milestone updates. That's not to say that they're going to do that specifically. We'll know more with the first major early access. If they name it Homestead, for example, then we know that it's going Homestead to Adventure to Civilization, and Miscellaneous might be scattered out throughout it. And the key aspects that I'm looking forward to in Miscellaneous, GeForce Now, and controller support. I put out a controller guide already on this channel. Thank you guys so much for checking that out. But yeah, this is something that I think doesn't necessarily rely on these, and you could still bring it to GeForce Now without full controller support. But having these two things together is going to be a huge asset to the game. They already announced that it was coming to GeForce Now you know, when they announced the early access launch, but we're still waiting on that official support to make its way into the game. All right, let's get into it. Homestead's going to have the prop signs, which they've talked about. This kind of tells that this is coming pretty first and pretty fast. They've been teasing this for a couple months. Expanded building sets, grapevine wall pieces, new furniture, building crafting balancing, recipe tracker, improved permission systems, and farming of the planters. So it doesn't feel like if you're looking for more adventure that you're going to get it in the Homestead update. But if we then go, and what I would say is that roughly three to ish months is kind of how I structure this. You could almost think of this as probably coming much sooner, since some of these things they've talked about, you know, for a while. So this could essentially be kind of the kickoff, and I would probably venture to bet that if it happens for some reason in July or August, that would then set this up for November or December for the adventure update, where we're going to get new spells, improved combat feel, new enemies, weather, improved NPC behaviors, better crowd control, unveiling the lore, and new gear is coming into play. Civilization, the update, this would probably most likely fall into the spring. I didn't intend for that, but there we go. Spring ahead, fall back. You got clan Talibirds, market stalls, gold economy, night roll, soldier roll, altars and miracles, and the friends list. This is going to be really interesting to see. And again, if we're looking at kind of that 3 to 4 month window, depending on when this starts, these dates are going to change, you know, in proportion. And then the miscellaneous key remapping update to use Unreal Engine 5.4. We talked in depth about my love of GeForce Now and controller support, Dutch and French localizations, as well as voice chat. And that's going to be interesting because I would rather see on this list Discord integration. When you talk about in-game voice chat, that's all well and good, but I think we've all kind of shifted into these other platforms. And it doesn't just have to be Discord, right? You could offer this in-game, but having those level of integrations, I think, is one way to kind of connect communities beyond the game. It's something that social media does that MMOs haven't picked up on, even though in a way, social media was inspired by MMOs. And so it's always an interesting kind of discussion to have. Guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the roadmap, what you're most looking forward to. Are you still playing? Are you taking a break? Or are you on the fence and just waiting to see, waiting for the right time to jump in and check out the game for yourself? We can have that discussion in the comments. We can also have that discussion in Discord. My Discord is open and free, and the top link in the description will get you there. Now, as we wrap up these videos, I'd like to end off with a message of hope to everybody out there. The world's crazy, and we all know that. It can feel overwhelming at times, and I honestly just want to let you know that don't let fear overtake your joy. Resist that with every fiber of your being. I would also encourage you to find time today to turn off the screens and breathe in the real world. If you're so fortunate to have, you know, your parents in your life, be sure to thank them, as you never know how much time you're going to have left with them. And if you're not so fortunate, I am so very sorry for your loss, and hopefully they may rest in peace. It's important to take care of yourself, and taking care of your mental health means taking care of your physical health and your well-being. And this could be financially, it could be spiritually, it could be what have you. There's something that we all need to work on. I'm working on losing over 100 pounds, 75 pounds down on that goal so far, making really good progress, working on me. And it's an investment that's going to pay out for you in the long run. So we all have this. There's no one who's listening to this that says, yep, I've got everything figured out. So do the thing. Figure out what it is who you want to be, and work on that. You know, you're not going to regret it. It's not like you're going to look back and be like, dadgummit, I wish I didn't invest in myself as much, you know, but it is what it is. I wish you guys honestly all the best. Hopefully this finds you, and hopefully this helps encourage your mood in a positive way. Guys, be good to each other. Love you. And hopefully I'll see you next time. But until then, take care.